Good evening and welcome to this very special show that we are hosting in conjunction with the mighty Volvo Construction Equipment. A pair of Volvo's finest ambassadors are waiting in the wings as we speak, and I'll be bringing them onto the stage in just a moment. But before we begin, before we begin, a very quick heads up. I'm determined to keep tonight's show nice and tight and brief and punchy. Our guests this evening are on a different time zone to the rest of us in the UK, so I'd like to have them at least have some of their night. And besides, there is a little football match taking place in Germany very, very soon. So let's get on with the show. I'll start with telling you exactly why I wanted to do tonight's show. Volvo's tagline for the past few years has been "Change starts here," and it relates to the company's commitment to carbon reduction and zero emissions. But an equally good tagline for the company would be "No envelope left unpushed." Think about it. Over the past few years, electric and electric conversion machines, check. Hydrogen machines, check. Autonomous machines, check. Fossil-free steel, check. Charging solutions and an app to monitor and manage your electric equipment, check that as well. They've done everything. And that's just off the top of my head. So to find out more, I'm going to bring on, I'd like to know how they manage to heap innovation upon innovation. So I'm going to bring them on to the show right about now. I'm going to say good evening to Bill Law, and I'm going to say good evening to Anna. Good evening, Volvo Land.
Good evening, Mark.
So first question, and I'll leave it up to you how you actually take these. How does Volvo, Volvo, it's a big company, don't get me wrong, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to some of the major manufacturers, you just seem to punch so far above your own weight for innovation. It's just one innovation after another. Is that a management thing? Is that an empowerment thing? How do you manage to do it?
I can start a little bit if you like, Mark. I think we like to think, if you think about the history of Volvo Construction Equipment, it goes back almost 192 years. So 1832, and of course, to survive that long, you need to change. You need to be able to change with the times, and I think we've shown over those almost 2 centuries a lot of innovation. The first ever wheel loader, the first ever series produced articulated hauler, and of course a lot of the products today. So it's really been a history of innovation that I think is one of the backbones of Volvo Construction Equipment, and possibly the fact we're part of the wider Volvo group, with the different influences we get from different industrial segments. I think allows us to sort of feed on the innovation that comes through, whether it's in the truck industry or the marine industry. So yeah, a lot of influences, but we definitely see innovation as the way forward.
A lot of the innovation of late has been driven very much by your commitment to the environment. Is that obviously I think we're all coming on board now, but is that a Swedish thing? It does feel like the Swedes are very much leading the charge in that respect.
I'll let Anna in as well in a moment on the product side, but we have sort of what we talk about our three core values. So one is safety, which I think maybe Volvo is extremely well known for. One is quality, but one is also environment. And Volvo adopted environmental care as a core value in 1972. So this was some years before the International Panel on Climate Change even thought environment was something to bring to the planet. So it's really been there very much in the DNA over the last 50, 60 years. And I would say, I think our feeling is that it doesn't have to be a competition between environmental care and productivity. We believe both of those are compatible with each other. So yeah, we believe being sustainable is good for driving business, driving success for our customers, and of course driving benefits for the planet. I don't know, maybe Anna, you'd like to jump in from a product side. It's environmental care has always been something in the product development, the engineering.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this also helps us attract quite a lot of extremely skilled, primarily engineers, but also co-workers, because it's values that attract a certain, both the care for the individuals and care for environment really is very attractive to value-driven people. So it helps us get people on board working that are not only there to do their job and sort of go home, but also are there because they share the company values, which adds on to the innovation and to the engagement and involvement in what we do. So I think that also supports the environment and the sort of creative climate that we have in the company.
That was one of the reasons I asked that question, actually, because I asked this of Bill, but I've also asked it of other Volvo people over the past couple of years. This isn't just a slogan for you guys. Change starts here. This is something that you actually take home with you, and it's something you live by in your own personal lives, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, this is a huge part of, I mean, I think we have great products. They are high quality and we have super innovative products, but it's also about the values aligning with my personal beliefs. I mean, I drive an electric car. I try to live in a way that's environmentally sustainable and so on. And I think that is the same for a lot of our engineers and a lot of our employees, that they try to live according to the same values that we have as a company. And I think it makes us stronger and it builds an engagement.
Right, we are going to get to some of the questions from the audience in just a moment, but before we get into that, obviously you've recently held your Volvo days. To give people a flavour of exactly what that looked like, we're going to play a bit of this. Yeah, for those of you that didn't get to go to the Volvo days, it was really, really good. And we've had a question from the audience here. Who have we had here? We've got Dan Cullen. Dan says, question to you guys. Do you think electric or larger electric machines will make progress onto sites? And how will they benefit in real rural areas, as you may need fuel-powered generators to charge them? One of we'll come on to the proper charging solutions a little bit later in the show, because obviously that's something that Volvo are again pioneering. But one of the things that we've heard quite a bit recently is this idea of micro, what do they call them? Micro hubs, power units, and that kind of thing. Are you thinking that far ahead? I guess the other question, obviously, you've gone up to a 20-ton wheel loader or a 20-ton excavator, all electric powered. Do you go bigger, or is that where hydrogen kicks in?
Yeah, please,
do you want to go, Bill, or?
I give something really high level at the beginning, and that is when we started, I think, on the electric journey, we really thought we'd start with the very smaller machines, and then incrementally over many years, you might move up to the larger machines. But we've actually seen the development being that we can even jump into the mid-size. We're already in the mid-size and even larger size electric. And we're beginning to see, at least from initial customer feedback, but the productivity, the efficiency, the TCO, the total cost of ownership, it makes it possible even to go into mid-size and even larger. And that's what your video showed there at the Volvo Days. We already have started introducing larger electric machines for both on the loader side and the excavator side. But Anna, maybe you can comment specifically on the products and, of course, in Mark's question on the accompanying charging infrastructure, what it means for that.
Yeah, I think what we see moving forward is that we're moving from a situation where we had one single solution, being the diesel engine that we've been able to use in our smallest machines all the way up until our largest machines. And we don't believe that that will be the situation moving into the future. We believe that we will have a variety of solutions. We will have battery electric vehicles. For example, some of the larger excavators, we could see a grid-connected solution. I mean, primarily, machines primarily standing still, they could be continuously connected to the grid. We also see fuel cells hydrogen-powered fuel cells. We see the possibility of internal combustion engines with hydrogen. So I think what we will see is a combination of several different energy sources being able to support all the machines up until the largest machines. It will probably not, or definitely not be, that we only have battery electric vehicles supporting the complete machine range. But then we also know that with the speed of the technology development, it's going very, very fast. We have been used to being able to predict the future need of our customers and the future technology development very, very well. And that is not, in one way, that's not the case anymore. What the market will look like, what the customer demand will look like, and what the technology will look like in 5 years, it's a lot more uncertain than what it's been. So we're currently working with several different technical solutions in order to be able to support the machines moving forward, keeping in mind that we have well over 150 machine types. So it's very, very difficult for us to have one single solution moving forward. And when it comes to the charging area, this is a bit of a new business for us. I mean, today we're not providing diesel out to the sites, but I mean, comparing with other our other sister companies in the group, Volvo Bus and Volvo Truck, for example, we are not expecting to use public charging stations. So what we are working on and what was demonstrated, for example, in the Volvo Days are, I mean, there are both stationary charging equipment, there are Volvo branded ones, and there are other suppliers, but we also have in-house developed power units. For example, the PU40 providing 40 kilowatts and the PU500 providing up to 500 kilowatts that are portable, that you with a forklift or wheel loader can move onto the site, provide both slow charging and fast charging to the machines during the day, and then bring them back to wherever they can be charged during the night when we can slow charge them during non-peak hours. So that is sort of a new business area where we also work very closely together with Volvo Energy and the other stakeholders in the group. I mean, our ambition is that charging should not be a reason to buy an electric machine. We will provide whatever charging solution that our customers need, and it will be quite a wide palette, being able to support everything from the small machines in 48 volts up to the largest machines, and of course complete site solutions. And there we also have, let's say, digital tools that will help our customers to see how to most efficiently balance a fleet of machines or a site when it comes to charging capacity, peak shaving, and so on.
We've had a question here from Jim Turner, who says, are Volvo considering having changeable batteries instead of fixed on machines that run for 2 or 3 shifts? Any thoughts on that?
Well,
yeah, over to you, Anna, I think, for that one.
Yeah, I mean, we know in countries, in personal cars, for example, the battery swap technology in China is quite well developed, for example. And I mean, of course, we're looking into different technical solutions. As I mentioned earlier, I will not sort of be commenting on specific definite specific solutions, but this is of course something we're looking into as well, knowing that I mean, for some machines the cost of the battery or the weight of the battery can be something that impacts operations significantly. So it could potentially be an interesting solution for some of the customers, but as I said, yeah, it's a number of things we're looking into.
Okay, another question from Dan Cullen, and this is one that comes up whenever we speak about electric machines. What about resale values? How do you put a price on a large electric machine 2 years old? How can you assess the value due to usage? It is a constant question. The last time I asked somebody at Volvo that very question, they said, well, you know, the battery will just go on. You can use it for something completely different at some point. Is there any update on that? I think one of the things that's causing the issue is the fact that because electric machines are still relatively in their infancy. there haven't been that many used ones sold. So I think there's a bit of a question mark there. Do you have any further information on that?
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that make this whole electrification journey something that concerns our entire company, because it's not only about the product development. This question sort of points to that it's about the whole life cycle of the machines. And in some cases, we're looking into different business models. I mean, for example, the L90 machines that we have coming out now, we will have a potentially different business model where we sort of rent or lease the machines to the customers so that they can use them, but we own them. We take the risk in order to support the customers in their electrification journey, but keeping the risk of this uncertainty with Volvo. And we're also, I mean, the charging solutions that we have, the power units, can also be chosen to include second life or used batteries. So we understand that, of course, batteries will have another lifetime than our machines. And we're both looking into technical solutions for this, but also on the business side, trying to, in the best way, support the customers, keeping the risk with us initially until we understand this fully.
Okay, we'll come back to all of the questions in a moment, because I am very keen to keep things moving along. Obviously, the highlight of the recent Volvo days was unquestionably the brand new excavators. So let's show those to people, and then we can have a chat about them in just a moment. Before we ask any questions on that, I'm going to let you into a little secret, tell you a little story, Anna and Bill. Normally, when I tell people I'm going to see a new machine, I generally get messages from the audience saying things like, I hope they've improved the servos, I hope the seat's a bit more comfortable, or I hope they've sorted out access to the maintenance points. When I told people I was going to see the new Volvo excavators, one of our audience, a guy called Steve Williamson, said, he sent me a message, and it said, I hope they haven't changed the cab. You're doing something right when people don't want it changed. So aside from the cab, tell me about the new excavators. What are the key factors on the new excavators?
Well, actually, there are some changes to the cab, but hopefully they won't be disappointments. I mean, we've focused on more space and comfort for the operator. We've worked a lot with the safety. So that, I mean, this being a key area for Volvo as well. So we have an always-on camera. We also focus on the productivity a lot, lowering the noise levels. So hopefully the changes to the cab, including an improved HMI, will be positive surprises and strengthening something that's already good, let's say. So I really hope that is good. Then we've also been working on improving fuel efficiency. We have a smarter cooling system and improved engine speed regulation, and optimizing the engine pump so that we will improve fuel efficiency and overall productivity, lowering the TCO for our customers.
Yeah, just to build on what Anna said there, I think the safety issue is one that we really, of course, we're known for. So entrance, egress, all-round visibility, both direct visibility, but also the utilization of cameras, the ease of service when reaching more service points from the ground level, and of course some of the on the service side, the what we call the assist functionality, hill assist, downhill cruise control, etc. So a lot on the safety side, using digitalization, connectivity to support that, as Volvo has done for many years.
I think that's one of the standout points, and I know, speaking to a few people that are actual operators rather than just a tired old journalist like me, people that have actually driven the new machines, that seems to be one of the key things that comes out of it. Volvo is very keen to help the operator, not to make his life more difficult, but to make his or her life that much easier. And those aids are there. You don't have to use them, but those aids are there to make you more efficient, safer, more productive, and everything else. It is like having an assistant in the cab to a degree.
Yes.
I mean, that's exactly what we say. We talk about the assist family of functions for each of the product lines, whether it's dig assist or haul assist or the other assist functions, and that's the feeling you should have. There is a co-pilot in the cab to help the operator. He's still in control or she's still in control, but there is these additional services just to help him or her get the job done better.
There's a question. I don't know who needs to take this. Are they electric servo levers or oil? Anybody?
I'm not 100% sure of that, actually. No.
I tell you what, Ken, I'll check and I'll come back to you on that one.
Yes.
That would be the easy answer. One of the things that struck me as well is, and again, going back to Steve Williamson's question about, hope they haven't changed the cab. It didn't feel to me like there was much wrong with the Volvo excavator anyway. It almost felt too soon to be upgrading it, and yet somehow you've managed to do it.
Yes, and I mean, I think it comes back to the continuous dialogues we have with the customers, but also the continuous innovation going on in-house. I mean, we have both. We're working with the technology push, where a lot of super committed engineers are working on a lot of great solutions. And then, I mean, since we also share a lot of common solutions, both within the group, but also between the three major platforms that we have, three big ones, for example, the wheel loaders and the haulers. So sometimes we bring out something that works very well in any of the other machine platforms, for example, and then why not share it with also, for example, excavator customers? And also, if we have good technical solutions that we see can improve TCO and work environment for our customers, then I mean, that's what we want to do, based on, of course, the customer needs that we have when we see.
I'm going to say good evening to Chris Ford, who's just joined us, but Ken Hatcher has just said, just look at Gold Rush, then you can see how reliable Volvo are. I've never actually seen an episode. Maybe I need to check that out. I am very keen because, obviously, Volvo has been a real pioneer in all things electric. I'm very keen to feature a bit of that because I've got a bunch of questions on that. So let's have a look at a bit of this. Now, I was lucky enough to see the L120 electric conversion at the Rallycross not so long ago. Very impressed. And I did think it was a very interesting approach to be able to take a diesel machine and say, no, we can make this electric and make it a very good electric machine. The other thing that strikes me about Volvo, and we've already touched on this, is lots of other manufacturers have said, electric will be fine up to 5 tons, 8 tons, 10 tons. And Volvo just seems to have said, no, 20 tons, absolutely fine. We can do that with no trouble at all. I think the L120 is an absolute example of that. What was the thinking behind that? Was it a case of we can do that or we should do that?
I think we, as I said at the beginning, maybe we we thought there was a more linear path from small to big, but we actually saw the technology was developing, that we could already move into the mid-sized classes. What we've seen both on the excavator side, so with EC230, which we introduced last year, the initial feedback from both customers but also operators is that the productivity is there, the efficiency is there, the benefits, of course, from a noise and pollution perspective are there. But also, excitingly enough, for the L120, which we kind of unveiled at the Volvo days, which is the wheel loader, it is showing the same feedback from early testing with customer pilots in limited testing. So we're really excited about both of those products on the midsize. So absolutely, it's we've been testing and trying, and yeah, this seems to be a really exciting positive development.
Anything you'd like to add to that, Anna?
Yeah, just maybe, I mean, this they might be the first sort of larger products that we are releasing now to the markets, but of course this has been a long journey of discovery internally, and I think it's very said when we've had the customers trying the machines and really showing that there's no compromise between going electric and having a machine that will provide productivity and a good working day for the customer. So that is really super energizing, I think.
I've got a question here which I really do want to get into. It's from Chris Ford, who says, with the growing trend of automation, where does Volvo see the operator of the future? Obviously, you've shown off your autonomous haulers, which to my mind completely rewrites that part of the business. Where do you see? I mean, you seem to be able to juggle both. On the one hand, you're giving the operators of today every bit of assistance they could possibly need, but at the other hand, you're able to provide a machine that doesn't need an operator at all. Where do you see the future?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, so far, looking into, for example, the autonomous haulers that we have, they are designed to be in an area where we do not have, for example, pedestrians, where we don't have unknown traffic and so on. So I think in an area, which some construction sites are, maybe especially sites where we can have sort of a similar track or the same track hauling material, the autonomous solutions are very, very good. And I'm sure moving forward 5 to 10 years, we will see even more applications where they will be super suitable. But even the autonomous haulers and machines need some sort of operator, then maybe a site operator and so on. So either or, we will have some sort of operator. But I mean, there are other areas, currently lots of areas where automation is very, very difficult, and where I think we have a way to go. For example, in urban areas where we can have pedestrians, unplanned traffic, unknown, let's say, interference and so on. So there I see that operators are absolutely necessary also in the machines. But I think it's important to say that also the autonomous haulers have, to a certain extent, operators.
I could add something, Mark, as well, if you want. I think we have, at the moment, we have operators in the cabs, and we have support mechanisms, whether it's the assist technology to allow them to do their job better. We have remote control where you can from distance remote control, and of course we look at the fully autonomous where we have a programming system, but of course you still need support to manage how the machines operate from a software perspective. So I think we're looking at the whole range of solutions, and ultimately it's what's best for the customer in the application, where they can benefit from autonomous, semi, fully, or part. And of course, a lot of construction sites, you're slightly different from the passenger car or on-road environment, where you have a more enclosed environment where perhaps you have more control over the different dynamics of what's going on. So there's opportunities there, but still, working very intensively on those, and that's definitely the future.
That will be music to the ears of the operators within the audience. Speaking of the audience, our friend Gary Muirhead has just arrived, and Gary is an SMT GB customer. In fact, he's an SMT GB Scotland customer. And oh boy, has he been saying some nice things about SMT recently. They've looked after him very well since he took delivery of his new machine. So good of you to join us, Gary. If you've got,
I'm very pleased to hear that. Fantastic. I'm glad SMT has been looking after him. Really good.
Well, I am starting to wonder, because Gary's up in Scotland. The other person that always speaks highly about SMT and Volvo is Steve Williamson, who's also in Scotland. And you're Scottish as well. You haven't given out a special order, look after Scotland. It's
No,
you wave your hands. I'm not so sure.
From Gary. I don't know Gary, but I think it's a good comment he made.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, I'm very conscious of the passage of time, so we're going to get on to our rigid haulers next, and I'm going to show you some of this. I realise in the grand scheme of things that's not a volume product, but they're really good, aren't they?
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I have to say, Scott Pollock, if Scott is watching, he gave us a great guided tour of those machines. Jim Turner has just said, plenty of sites where a 360-degree driver could be the hub of the job. Radio control, GPS, automated dumper, dozer roller, all from a control panel in the machine. I totally agree. That could well be the way we're going. And just to follow on from Gary Muirhead, yes, Mark, can't fault SMT Volvo Scotland. Service absolutely fantastic, going above and beyond for our company. This is our first Volvo 14-tonner, and we are looking at replacing our fleet of JCBs for all new Volvo excavators. You heard it here first.
Well Great done. To hear. Glad the support
is
good.
SMT.
The product is good.
Absolutely. We do have one final film now. Bill, I know you want to get off a bit sharpish, so I don't blame you if you want to duck out right about now. But we've obviously touched on a lot of equipment here. We've touched on electric and autonomous and everything else. The other part of the puzzle is obviously autonomous. I'm going to show you a film that we shot over in Intermat in Paris. It's only a minute long, and then we'll come back and talk about autonomous, and you can go off and have your evening, people. But let me do this very, very quickly.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome into Intermat 2024. Welcome into the Volvo stand. And we want to present this morning this prototype because the color is green. It is HX04. It is an electric machine, but to have the electricity on this machine, we use a fuel cell with hydrogen. It is a prototype, and the target of this prototype is to define the strong and the weak point of this solution. It is an articulated hauler. Don't forget, Volvo, it is the leader of the articulated hauler everywhere on the world. It is so you have hydrogen tank, you have a fuel cell. After the fuel cell, you have electricity. And after that, you have one electric motor on each axle. So you have 3 electric motors.
I think we played that at the perfect time because Dan Cullen has just said, are Volvo considering hydrogen machines? Clearly, yes, they are.
Absolutely. I mean, as I said earlier on, we don't see that electrification will bring one single technical solution. We most likely will have grid-connected solutions, hydrogen-powered machines, whether it be fuel cells or internal combustion engines with hydrogen batteries, and potentially other solutions that we haven't even started to look into yet. So absolutely, hydrogen is definitely an option moving forward.
Although it remains quite a way off, doesn't it? I mean, even if you could actually produce that prototype today, where would you get the hydrogen from? It's not exactly widely available, is it?
No, exactly. And I mean, this is a challenge, especially finding, let's say, clean hydrogen. So that is what we mean with that. This is a journey that will continue over a number of years with several different technical solutions that will be more suitable. Some technical solutions will be more suitable for different customers, different machines, and different regions because of electricity mix and available energy sources in the concerned countries.
It feels almost rude to ask the question that I'm about to ask you, given the fact that we did the Volvo days and there was lots and lots of new equipment. And let's have a look. Will Volvo ever go into the dozer market? You don't have to answer that. One thing I would ask, though, I mean, bearing in mind you've just unveiled, I think it was 9 separate new products in one big hit, and yet Bauma is.
I think maybe it's a good opportunity to say, what is exciting actually when we talk about products is this is probably maybe in our whole history, but certainly in the last 20, 30 years, one of the biggest launch years for the company ever. So in different product segments, of course, a whole new excavator range. You focused on the rigids there. We have some exciting news coming on haulers, and then a number of electric products as well, all coming out during 24. Different markets launch during 24, 25. So a super exciting time, and also the services that go with them. So really exciting time when it comes to product launches. And we're not necessarily thinking about, other products which are also in the portfolio, but really those which are in the portfolio, which make up a huge percentage of the market. If we think about excavators, I mean, when we talk about our served market, we think it's kind of 50% of the market is excavators, and we are coming out with a whole new range. So we're very happy with the opportunity to bring out so many new products this time in the cycle.
Given that you've done that, do you have anything up your sleeve for Bauma?
If I did, then probably the best thing to do is not to tell you on the podcast. I mean, this has been a big year, but it's not over. There is some really, really exciting stuff coming, and we will keep you informed about that for 2025. Absolutely, Mark.
Awesome. Well, listen, I said I'd try and keep this to 40 minutes. That is 40 minutes. One question I do have, how are things going with the rallycross thing? Because I've attended that a couple of times, and it's been absolutely fantastic. How's that going?
That's going great. So season 3 kicked off last weekend in Sweden. First event. Actually, The Volvo team is a joint leading position in the Drivers' Championship and the Constructors' Championship. So really happy. We have events coming up in Hungary, in Portugal, in Belgium, and in China. So it's a great platform. Of course, the racing is good. It's electric racing, at least for our team. But what really is super good is that we can see the opportunity to profile sustainable technologies, electric technologies. It really works for that, for customers and for others. So we're really committed to it, and please keep following. And we hope to see you at one of the events soon, Mark.
I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'm going to let you go, but I'm just going to show you this. This is how our audience understands exactly how these things work. Jim Turner says, my prediction is some large-scale electric machines coming to a Derbyshire quarry as soon as possible. I don't really expect an answer, though. Yes, he's hinted at this before. Apparently, there is something in the offing, but we'll worry about that when it actually happens. Listen, guys, I really appreciate you giving up your evening, and I realise you're an hour ahead of me, at least an hour ahead of me, possibly even two. I don't know, but I know we're eating into your evening. So I'm going to
the football is starting in 15 minutes. You know that.
15 minutes, and far more importantly than that, it is Anna's grandmother's 90th birthday today. She's taken time away from her 90-year-old grandmother to be with us here tonight. So I really appreciate that, guys. Go and have a fantastic evening. Thanks ever so much for giving up your time. I've got some more questions that are here, but what I'll do, I'll bag them all up. I'll send them over to you, and I'll answer them on a future show at some point once we've got the answers. But until then, everybody, fantastic show. Thanks ever so much for being here. Anna, Bill, go. Oh, well, I'll leave you with this. That's what Jim Turner just said. Happy birthday to her. There you are, all the way from the UK. Anna, Bill, go and have your evening. I'm not going to say come on, England, because I'm not expecting much, but till I see you again, people, have a great evening.
See you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, that should just about do us, I think. I'll be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the usual breakfast show. That's what we call it. I'm struggling to remember what it was called for a second there. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the breakfast show. Incidentally, if you're still here, if you folks that are here and who are regulars, one of the things that I'd like to ask you tomorrow, I've been hearing some unpleasant stories about AdBlue causing machine problems. The machine problems I'm hearing about are specifically on mobile cranes, but has anybody had any bad experience of AdBlue? That'll be a discussion point for tomorrow. And don't forget, tomorrow we've also got a special guest, technology allowing. We will be joined by this fella. That's David Wiley, who is a journalist and an author and a general machine enthusiast. So if you've got any questions about anything that David Wiley's got up to, please join us for that. Everybody go and have a fantastic evening. Fingers crossed on the football, possibly. I'll see you in the morning. All the best.